Hey everyone, middle of the night here. I'm up for you, people.
Thank you. Also, good afternoon. It's only noon here.
Okay, so we're just gonna wait for a couple of minutes to see who else is coming, and then Eve will take the mic. I don't know how many of you guys have met Eve in any of the other programs, or we actually did a workshop together a month or so ago. But Eve has been working, well, as a producer and with some of the biggest names in the game in Hollywood for many years. I think it was about 20 years, wasn't it? 20 years or
Too
so.
long.
Yeah, so she kind of knows a thing or two about how to sell stuff to people because television and movies have to be sold to the public. And uh, she um, she has been developing a very specific framework, which when she showed me, and I'm like, um, this is so logical, but none of us think that way. um, Especially when you start looking at the people that you want to sell stuff to. Because like um, we are all, say, the same age. Say we're all between 30 and 60, all of us here, or thereabouts. But we're all so different in everything. And this is kind of how her framework works. You know, it's not just those demographics, it's a lot of other things that go into to find the people that will listen to your message and buy your stuff. Because I think the worst thing we all do all the time is going, the whole world is my client because I can help everyone. And on the surface, when we look at our offers, we can absolutely help everyone. Like, I can help every single business in the world automate their backend, or create custom GPTs for them, or build apps for them, or do that. But I'm definitely not suitable for every business, and definitely not every business is suitable for my skills or even my likes. So today is going to be like really, really interesting. Um, Everyone that is part of any of our paid communities or programs or memberships will get a replay. So if you guys are in school, you'll find the replay in the masterclass. If any of you are in the AI School of Business, you'll find it in the MemberPress website. If some of Eve's customers, they will get their own replay. So if you're not in any of these categories and you're live here, make sure that you take lots and lots and lots of notes. Okay, so in saying this, Eve Whitaker.
Thank you, Monica. And hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I met Monica just through mutual people that were interested in AI. And I love that she's up. For those of you that know me, but don't know Monica, she's in Australia. So my friends always think I'm giving them a load of crap when I say, I can't go. I'm doing a Zoom at like 6 o'clock at night. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, really, I have a partner in Australia now, and it makes me sound bigger than I am. No, it's awesome. We just started teaming up and are beginning to work more together on ways to help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and business owners really harness AI and use it to your advantage. And my biggest thing, I call it the trifecta of saving time, money, and giving value to your clients. I'm going to do a quick little presentation, but before I will just tell you just a little bit about me. I know Monica touched on it, but I worked in television for about 25 years, all over the country, but I did have a stint in LA. And really that's where I met a film producer that is, I don't know if he's known as much as his movies are known. He did the Terminator 2, Mortal Kombat, True Lies. And I came on board with him, and he had a television network, and I helped him launch it in about 45 countries. And he's really where I got my chops, going from a content production producer. That's what I did. I had a degree in journalism and an MFA in media arts, and I always wanted to do more of the producing. And he kind of threw me into roles of marketing, and I found out I really liked it. It was right when social media was beginning to get very well used in the marketing world. This is, 2009-ish. And I was able to work for him for about 6 years, even leaving LA and working remotely for him. And really kind of got a lot of my framework on how we talk to people, because like Monica said, a television show, a network, I had a stint in radio, all that kind of stuff. Like, you're dealing with what you think is a mass group of clients or customers. And when you narrow it down and really understand how to speak to them, it all of a sudden unlocks the gates and the right people come to you and they actually buy from you. So I'm going to share my screen just to kind of put an exclamation point behind what I just said. And let me call this up, go full screen. So this is our branding as superheroes. One of the things that I've told Monica, and Crystal is my business partner here in the States, who is not on this call today, but I really do believe that AI is a superpower. And so we made ourselves superheroes. It's just fun. And we're just kind of going with it right now. So really know how to communicate with your customer or client. And that's just AI for business growth. And I always address the elephant in the room. I know a lot of you guys have done AI and have worked in it, so this might not even be a question, but I speak at a lot of different conferences on AI for people that is the first time, and they always think they're going to lose their job and the AI's, the robots are going to take over. And so I always like to give them this answer. The threat is real, but not how you think it's real, right? I love that someone's laughing. So, and I love that you guys have your cameras on. Thank you. But the threat is real. And what the threat is AI is not going anywhere and your competitors are starting to use it. So if you don't jump into this and start using it, you will get left behind. And that is the real threat. That is truly the real threat of AI. So I already mentioned this before. I feel AI is a trifecta of saving you time, making you money, saving you money, and offering extreme value to your clients or customers for the first time ever in a trifecta like this. Like I said, have been in marketing for a very long time, email marketing, just very standard marketing, mail, like literally doing mailers, which still works. It's not dead, but AI is something that has taken over. And I say this a lot too, when I was first in school, back in the day, I'm older than I look, that if you would have said, like, you will be able to take a phone and actually shoot content and then essentially broadcast it, because when we publish it on social media, to me, it's the same thing, I would have said there's no way. I learned content production before the nonlinear came out. So I was walking around doing deck to deck, kind of that VHS style. And the amount of the difference between that time of the late 90s until about 2010, what has happened is astronomical in how much technology has taken us. If you look at what happened about 2 years ago, where AI is having what I call its second wave, it is now in the people's hands versus people where we used it, but it wasn't available to us. You can 1,000x what technology has done in the last 2 years to what it did from when I was in school until about 2010. It is incredible what it is doing. And so this is where I say AI plus you is a superhuman. Monica and I are superhumans. Again, we created these using a program and in about 5 minutes. So again, just one of those things where before you had to hire a graphic artist, people say, isn't that going to take jobs away from graphic artists? No. When I'm making enough money, I don't want to be doing this. I'll hire a graphic artist to use AI to do this, right? Like it will take jobs and make jobs. And so I do say it handles about 70% of my marketing tasks. There always needs to be a human behind it. I don't think at this point, besides Monica, who deals a lot more with automation, and so let's put that on the shelf because I'm more talking about the content creation, it literally will get me about 70% of the way there. And then I tweak and I make my adjustments. So with that, it's all about content creation. And there's many different forms of content, and there's many different platforms to put that content out for your ideal customers. And so that's what we're going to get into today. So I'm only going to go over step one, but I hate when people do master classes and like they give you just like a slice of the pie and it leaves me going like, but I don't understand how to connect all the dots. So I just wanted to make the 4 crucial steps to me in any kind of content production, and then putting it out on the platform of the strategy is to know your audience. And that's what we're going to go over today. Know what your audience wants, provide them with value, begin to build trust. Then you do the ask, then you do the sell. But so many people skip that and they just go to number 2. They think they know what their audience wants. They don't even really know who their audience is. And they don't provide value. They don't build trust, and they just ask for a sale. And then they're wondering why none of their Google ads or their Facebook ads or their emails are working. And I'm like, well, I'll go and do an audit for my clients. And I'm like, well, I call it portfolio peacocking. I'm like, all you're doing is selling yourself. Like if you walk into a networking event, would you literally walk around and just hand your business card the first thing? Hey, I'm Eve Whitaker. I do AI and marketing. Call me. Hey, I'm Eve Whitaker. I do AI and marketing. Call me. No, you would have conversations. You would start to talk to people. You might walk up to a group of people who are talking and just listen. Just listen to them and then maybe interject something. And so many people, when they're doing their marketing, and again, it doesn't necessarily have to be in social media. It can be in your email campaigns. It can be in whatever platform you deliver your marketing. So many people do that peacock portfolioing. I made that up, so steal it if you want. And it literally, it does not work. And time again, they wonder, why doesn't it work? Well, because you didn't provide value, you didn't build trust, but most importantly, you weren't talking to your audience correctly because you didn't know them. And so one of the things that I say to know your customer, and this really comes down to what I learned in television, right? Everything in television that asks you, what are your demographics? What's the show's demographics, right? The sales people wanted to know that. The marketing people wanted to know the demographics so they understood how they were going to sell to them. So here's some demographics, and this is just going to, again, give little examples before I dive into how I'm going to show you how to use AI to figure this stuff out. So here's just some demographics, okay? Male, born in 1948, raised in the UK, married twice, lives in a castle, why not? Wealthy and famous, okay? So if I am going to market to this person, this is, if I only know the demographics, this is what I have to go on, right? Whether you're selling landscaping, whether you're selling fashion, whatever, this is what I have to go on. And so clearly I was talking about King Charles, right? Lives in a castle, dead giveaway. That is who I'm selling to. I know this guy. I know how to sell to him. Makes perfect sense. But who also has his demographics is Ozzy Osbourne. Same demographics to very different people. And if I'm producing marketing content for King Charles, I have a feeling it's not going to resonate with Ozzy Osbourne or the other way around. I always like to fill in both male and female. So we'll do another one. Female, mother, mid-40s, wealthy, likes to donate time and money, high profile marriage, fashion icon. Now, because I might have a little thing with the royal family, I actually don't, but it just worked. Kate Middleton, right? Perfect demographic, fits her. I'm going to market to her. Same thing. I'm selling her fashion. I'm selling her a product. I'm selling her something for her kids. But guess who else has her demographics? Kim Kardashian. Same demographics, very different women. So I'm not going to be able to use the same thing, right? I'm going to have to be able to figure out more when it comes to that. So let me stop my screen share for a second. And before I go on, because I know sometimes it gets crazy, does anyone have any questions of any of that before I dive into how I use, and I should have gave you guys a warning. I have 3 dogs. And so if you hear any scuffling or one of them jumps up, ignore. Do any of you guys have any questions real quick on any of that stuff before I go on? And I'll give more time to have questions afterwards, but I tend to fire hose people to the face. And so I like to pause here and just be like, move on or not.
Eve, hi.
Hi.
Can you turn on closed captioning? I can understand you, but I might not be able to understand anybody else that comes on.
I actually don't even know how to do that, show. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I can understand you.
Okay.
And that
That's
was very
fine.
funny.
Okay. Okay. So, anyone else questions, anything? This is Apollo. He's coming to say hi. He's my little puppy, not little. All right. So who wants to be my volunteer to go through this? I'm going to do, okay. Hand raised, Laura. Is that correct, Laura?
That's correct. Hello.
Hello. Okay, awesome. So before I share my screen, I'm actually going to just ask you some questions. I'm going to type them out and then I'm going to share my screen and show you how we're going to find our ICA. For anyone that doesn't know what an ICA is, because in all honesty, you don't have to, ideal client avatar. And what an ideal client avatar is going to go into with these 4 prompts that I'm going to go into, I will show you guys these. I'm not going to gatekeep them. We'll give them to you. So if you don't have to, you know, try to write them out or screenshot. I've taken a lot of master classes with people that they gatekeep what they teach. And I'm like, what is the point? Like, can you just share this stuff? So happy to share this with you guys. I learned this from someone and then literally like just turned it into my own thing. So Laura, what do you do?
I'm an AI automations consultant for social media managers who want to save time and make more money by integrating AI into their social media management process.
Okay, so I'm going to describe that. Who would you be? Who do you think your describe who you believe your ideal client is right now?
Social media managers over 40 who are burnt out, stuck on the content creation hamster wheel, overburdened trying to manage multiple clients and need help, but they don't necessarily have the budget to pay for a resource or a team. So they usually operate solo. And one of their issues is they find it difficult to grow their own businesses because the time it takes to make content for their clients is all consuming. So they're stuck with the ceiling on them where they are maxed out and can't actually grow. So are starting to hate what they're doing and want a different way to get around it.
Okay, thank you. Do their own. So they do their own marketing and are overwhelmed by the process and time it takes.
Yep.
To produce content. And does your business have a name or is it, do you just go by you?
I just go by me.
Okay, so you would say that you're more of it's a consultant, right?
Yes, I'm a consultant, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Laura, who targets businesses or solopreneurs who do their own marketing and are overwhelmed by the process it takes to produce their content. Hold on a second. Laura, and you know what? Let me share my screen while I do this, just so you guys can see. I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed because I'm going to put this into ChatGPT, but I'll still have you guys just so you can see it. So I'm not just typing on a blank thing. Okay. So I'm typing right here. So an AI consultant who targets businesses or solopreneurs who do their own marketing and are overwhelmed by the process and time it takes to produce content. Laura teaches. How do you deliver your work? Do you do one-on-one?
So how I deliver is I build the tool for them. So if they need, so what I work with right now is GPTs, automations, and a combination of the two. So they come to me, but yeah, it's basically one-on-one because every business is different.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so Laura builds AI tools for them that both automate and streamline their workflow to make it less overwhelming and easy to do by themselves. Name some examples of like someone that you've worked for. I'm just, the more information that I'm going to give to this prompt at this point, the better it will give our results.
Okay, so one of my clients is a kinesiologist, and she works with therapies like tapping, and she helps people that have been through trauma work through their whatever it is using tools like kinesiology and tapping. What I did for her was she hasn't a clue really about content, how to create it, social media, nor does she have the time. And because she's so hands-on in her own practice, she can't get to it. So not only does she then work flat out during the week, she's now trying to compensate for being unable to market her business by working on the weekends. And she's just maxed out. Obviously, she doesn't want to do that. So yeah. So I built her a GPT and automation, like a little bundle. And the GPT's been trained on her business, her methodologies, her clients. And the automation grabs the information from the GPT and writes the articles or the content for her and then repurposes that for her business. So she now has thought leadership content based on her own experience and knowledge and clients. And she doesn't have to think about it too much. She just has to tweak what she feels isn't accurate and then add her own images or whatever it is into her posts, and boom.
Got it.
There. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so basically what I wrote as the prompt is a marketing specialist. Your task is to create, we're going to first do a profile before we do an avatar, an ideal customer profile for an AI consultant, Laura, who targets businesses or solopreneurs who do their own marketing and are overwhelmed by the process it takes and the time to produce content. Laura builds AI tools for them that both automates and streamlines their workflow to make it less overwhelming and easy to do by themselves. For example, she worked with a kinesiologist who helps people deal with trauma. Laura helped her create content for social media, and I'm just going to put and marketing and other marketing by building her a GPT and automation so she could establish herself as a thought leader in her field. That sound about right? Okay. Yeah. Then I go into, go ahead.
She's multilingual. So she works with mostly people in Spain. So she speaks Spanish, and she wanted a way to translate the English content quickly for clients so that she could do both, because she has presence on a page in Spanish and a page in English, but she was like, it's too much to write it and then rewrite it and keep writing it. So
yeah. I'm going to leave that out just because I don't like, that's great. Okay. And unless like a lot of your clients are a lot of your clients that way?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'll leave that out because it might go down a rabbit hole of that, because that's very specific. Okay. So I'm going to keep it. It's good to give as much content as possible, but if something is kind of an outlier, I would leave it as an outlier. Okay, so your profile should be detailed and use a combination of demographics, psychographics, and behavioral data to identify the target market, their interest, their yearly income. Please provide a clear and concise response highlighting the ideal customer's key characteristics. It would be best to provide a detailed description of the target market, including gender, occupation, location, income, what keeps them up at night, what are they scared this problem says about them, what do they avoid if it triggers too much fear and anxiety for them, what's the worst case scenario if they, and normally I would change this, but I highlighted what I need to change and I forgot this one, grow their business, because that actually does fit with you because they're hiring you to grow their business. If you did, and I hate everyone uses the weight loss example, but it's the easiest one to grasp. If you were in the health and fitness industry and you help people lose weight, you would put in there, what's the worst case scenario if they don't achieve their health goals or whatever, right? Where will they feel powerless if they fail? What difference would, and I was doing this with someone else that was working in AI, learning simple AI tools make in reaching their goal. I can actually leave that because that applies to you also. And what would make it easier for them to not be afraid of new technologies? I'll change that to say afraid of working with Laura. Okay. All right. So I'm literally just going to cut this. Go into my ChatGPT. And just so you know, I do a combination. I use Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Claude. All of them would work for this, right? I like this for ChatGPT because I also make GPT, so I'm in here a lot more. And this is kind of what I like. But I do all my fact checking. If I do something in ChatGPT, I take it into Claude to fact check it because, you know, earlier it was giving me examples of like Kanye West and Barack Obama had the same demographics. And I'm like, nope, they don't, you know. So as you guys know, who've worked in AI, it could be a little wrong sometimes. So, okay. So this is where, and I want to take you guys through all the prompts and try to do this example with one other person too. So if we were really diving into this, and we can do a little, we would go through this and change anything that was not correct, right? If there's anything glaring that's not correct, let's change it. Otherwise, just to show you what the next 3 prompts are and be able to workshop someone else. So the ideal customer profile for Laura, the AI consultant, age 30 to 55, predominantly female, but does inclusive of all genders. Occupation, solopreneurs, small business owners, and professionals who handle their own marketing. Health and wellness, kinesiologists, we gave them that. Freelancers, writers, designers, boutique business owners. Location, primarily based in urban or suburban areas with high internet penetration, predominantly in North America, Western Europe, also targeting English-speaking entrepreneurs globally. Average income, look good so far? Anything glaring?
No, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into some of their psychographics. And just like a side note, you guys, this isn't what we're doing. And because you know this, Laura, this is actually stuff we would use to train the GPT, right? This is prompt building, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a different, like this stuff to make sure it's correct. The next prompts I'm going to give you lead to where we can create content that actually speaks to your customer, right? So that's kind of where this goes. Than necessarily being like, oh, that's what do I do with this information, right? So psychographics, we have their interests, business growth and development, personal development, technology, social media, digital marketing, work-life balance and efficiency, values, autonomy and independence in running their own business, continuous learning, self-improvement, lifestyle, busy schedules, juggling multiple roles. You mentioned that. That sounds about right. Pretty obvious under solopreneurs. They invest in tools and services that save them time and reduce stress. Some of their behavioral data, technology uses, regular users of social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, They utilize various digital marketing tools. They're open to adopting new tools. They seek solutions that offer clear ROI and time saving. Challenges: struggling to consistently produce high quality content, difficulty in establishing themselves as thought leaders in their niche. Deep dive into their customer insights, what keeps them up at night, the inability to consistently create engaging content. I know sometimes that little, hamster wheel of just like whatever you do. Fear of falling behind, overwhelm from managing multiple aspects of the business alone. Fears about the problem, reputation, business, what they do to avoid this. Worst case scenario, if they don't grow their business, loss of personal investment, passion in their field, where they feel powerless. Again, it gives you a lot. And then it always comes down to this summary, right? And then, that your ideal customer is motivated solopreneur or small business owner, gives you the age again, really big bracket of the income. Individuals are passionate about their field. By adopting your solutions, they can streamline their workflow, consistently produce high quality content, establish themselves as thought leaders. Laura should emphasize personalized solutions, demonstrate proven success, provide robust support, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now I'm going to go back.
I'm doing some of that, which is great.
What's that?
I'm doing some of that at the end, personalized solutions and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we can take all this information, these 4 prompts, and there's like, once you have these 4 prompts, and I'll go over this at the end, the amount of stuff you can do with it for strategies, email marketing campaigns, your own social media. I mean, it just like, it blows up. Monica and I are actually doing a workshop similar to what you do, where we're going to help people build a custom GPT, but it's going to start where I'm showing you 4 prompts because you can really get good results with these 4 prompts. There's actually 9 of them that I do with people and really get into it. And then we're going to build a custom GPT so people can exactly what you do, because it is so important, but there's so many different aspects of it that I'm sure we won't get into this too much today, but what do most people say about social or about AI right now? It doesn't sound like me. It sounds like a robot, and so that's all stuff that, if you're in Monica's group, she created this amazing tool that analyzes your voice. We're going to teach that. So anyway, it's multi-layered, but these 4 prompts will definitely get you guys in a good place. So the next prompt is, please create a customer avatar. So now we're going to put the skin, the facial, the hair, all that stuff on the bones we just created. Of this ICA or persona or description of the perfect client for the business above, what they like, how they behave, loyalty to your brand, and how they conduct business with you. I'm just going to cut and paste that. I used to try to type all this while doing this workshop. Finally, it dawned on me. It's just cut and paste.
Yeah, there's some kind of pressure that comes with trying to type in real time while there's a room full of people watching you. What spelling errors?
And I have Grammarly, and Grammarly gets in my way so much. It's like I should just disable it. And I'm a horrible speller, which you'll see. So anyway, it's funny because it is. It's like, so I like this way better. All right. So I love how it always gives me a female. I'm not going to do this today, but usually what I do, guys, is I go back after this and I also ask it to also give me a male avatar, especially because your demographic, unless you are only dealing with a male or female. Again, this is about training the AI to really understand and produce better content. So Emma Thompson, she's 42. She's a female. Oh, she's a licensed kinesiologist. Just picked right from there. Located in Seattle, Washington, makes about $85,000. She's dedicated, who is running her private practice for the past 5 years. Passionate about helping individuals recover from trauma and improve their physical and emotional well-being. Holds a master's degree. Regularly attends workshops and seminars to stay up to date in her field. some of her psychographics, personal development. And again, this goes to a lot of the profile anyway, so we won't go over this because it sounds like it's just going to say the same stuff. Busy lifestyle, yes. Her behavioral traits, active on social media, likes to connect with clients, uses digital marketing. Her buying behavior, seeks solutions that offer clear return on ROI and saving time. Prefers personalized services that cater specifically to her needs, values expert guidance, challenges, struggles to consistently create engaging and relevant content, finds it difficult to establish herself as a thought leader, emotional drivers, what keeps her up at night, fears about that problem, what she does to avoid this anxiety, delegating marketing tasks, fearing the loss of control over her branding, what she does to avoid due to the fear of this. Okay, so she avoids delegating marketing. How many times do you hear that? Those people that work with entrepreneurs, it's like, what do you mean you're the one running your business and doing the marketing? I always say you can't read the label inside the bottle. At least get someone to bounce ideas off of, right?
Yeah.
Goals and aspirations, impact of the AI tools. So learning to implement the simple AI tools. Laura Wood gives you what she'll do, enhance. Again, this is all good to know, but this is all training. Relationship to your brand, initial interaction, engagement, loyalty, conducts business. What makes Emma loyal to your brand? Obviously, proven results. If it's not working, she's probably going to go away. She likes the personalized service, the trust and credibility, ongoing support. Because I do what you do, I'm like, yep. We have similar clients. Community feeling. And I don't know if you have like a group, but that is a lot like this. You know, they like to have people that they can bounce ideas off of.
Hey,
All right.
can you show us that prompt again, please?
Oh yeah, I'll give this all to you guys. We'll put this.
Okay.
In fact, we'll figure out how to get it to you. But yeah, because it's I'll turn this into a Word doc or something and just put it up, a Google Doc, and just give you guys the link. Okay, so please provide me with some of her pain points. So if you're in marketing, you totally understand pain points. Like, what is stopping them? What are their pain points within their own business? Regarding, and instead of subscribing to my online videos or hiring me as her coach, regarding hiring Laura to help build her custom AI tools to help her market her business and become a thought leader in her niche. And then I say, please provide the exact words that she uses. Okay. So again, this is more just now we're just, again, putting more of, we're picking the color of her shirt now and the earrings and the shoes, and we're just going to get way more into this. So her pain points, fear of complexity, cost concerns, time investment, loss of personal touch. I hear that all the time. That is one that we're really drilling down on. Control over content. Yes, I just talked with a client earlier today that is her whole thing. You know, people I think that own their own business are a little bit of control freaks. I know I am. So, you know, it's like dealing with all this and how to get ahead of those. Effectiveness doubts, support and maintenance, customized fit, all this stuff, understanding her concerns.
There's a load of them.
What's that?
There's a load of them.
Oh, yeah. But this is also where when you understand the pain points, I mean, one of the exercises I take my clients through when they're developing their marketing, we get their top 10 pain points and we create marketing around we try to actually do 12 because I like doing one a month. And that's where we'll put out value content where we're just giving them value solutions to those top 12 pain points. So get the top 12 that really dive into who your ideal customer is and really finding that. And then this is people who do what we do. And I'm sure it applies to a lot of other people on this call. And then I provide content that just solves that problem. I don't say this is what I do. I just solve the problem. We do one a month and we just keep doing it. And the stuff that does well, we recycle it. We do it a different way and it just goes and goes and goes. Addressing her pain points kind of gives you, again, simplify the process. You know, AI, everyone thinks they have to be techie. No, you don't. In fact, you don't have to be techie. It's the opposite. I was not a tech person before I got into AI. But somewhat, I guess that's not completely true. I know how to edit and I was familiar with technology. Transparent pricing. Nobody likes it when you're like, hey, why don't you just buy this one more thing, right? Like we all are victims of being, you know, that. Give me your phone number, give me your email address. And not just kidding, you actually have to pay me, whatever. And emphasize security. All right, so then the final prompt, give me the exact thing she says about her goals and her dreams around having a successful business. And then this is where I bring in her, like the end result of like having worked with you, right? So I'm going to make her the hero in this journey. So please give me the exact thing she says about her goals and dreams around having a successful business after implementing Laura's tools successfully. Finding more time to spend on things other than marketing, because what Laura provided gave her this freedom. So again, this is almost like, let's get ChatGPT to know these people and then almost in a sense, give their journey testimonial, because it's not necessarily a testimonial to you, but it gives it into it. So increased focus with Laura's AI tools handling my market. I can finally dedicate more time to my clients, enhanced work-life balance, established thought leadership, Laura solutions, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I'm looking at the time and I'm probably not going to be able to go over another person because I want to show you guys the next thing so you guys can all take this and apply it. So this is where, and I'll stop the screen share just for a second and then we'll jump back on. This is where whatever you need to do. So let's say you need to do an email campaign, and I have tips and tricks to all that stuff too. Frameworks, because I always use someone else's framework, right, in the prompts. But let's just say that we want to do social media, right? And we want to create, well, actually, let me ask you, what do you need right now? Do you need like a 3-part email campaign? Would you like Instagram posts? Like what would help you today, Laura, get to your ideal client more?
Yeah, probably stuff on social media.
Okay. And to be honest, if you didn't know right now, that could be the next prompt. It could be like, give me a strategy. That's what we'll do, just to show you the different ways, since I'm not going to do another person because it would just be very quick. And I want to just kind of really begin to show you how you guys can do this. And for you, Laura, someone that builds GPTs, this is always the first stuff in the GPT that I give it. It's literally like for each of my clients, because I do a lot of this for clients, I don't build them a GPT to use. I have an agency to where I build a GPT for me to use and charge them a lot of money each month to do it, where it's like, you guys could just learn a little AI and do it, but don't tell them that. No, I give them more value than just that. I do. I'm just picturing one of my clients being like, wait a minute. All right. So let's say the next thing, and again, this is where the other 5 prompts will just take this deeper. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry. Hold on. I do that sometimes. Okay. So I'm going to go back into it and I'm going to say, you are a social media expert. Always give it a roll. And I need you to create a social media strategy for me to target my ideal? I'll just put my ICA above. I want you to focus on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or X, and LinkedIn. So here's just a pro tip for anyone that does prompting. Give it a roll, right? Give it the task. And then my go-to next line is, what clarifying questions do you have for me in order to optimize this task? Because then it's just going to ask me anything it might need to know before. Okay. And you don't have to answer all these, by the way, because this is where it will get like way into it. When I'm really doing this with a client, another pro tip is I always say, please ask me these questions one by one, because it's like, okay, so business objectives. What are your main objectives using social media? I'm going to put brand awareness and lead generation, right? Short-term, long-term. Are you focusing on short-term gains or long-term growth? I'll just say both. How will you measure the success of your social media efforts? Engagement rates, follower growth, website traffic. I'll say conversions.
Yeah.
Current social media thing. I'm just going to say I'm on all of these. What types of content have you been posting? And I post static and video posts. Again, you could go through and do this way more detailed. I just want to kind of show you what it does. Have you implemented any social media strategies in the past? If so, what worked for you? This is a good one. Have you done anything in the past that's worked really well for you?
Me personally.
Yeah, on social media. If you haven't, that's fine. We'll say no. But if you have, it will take that information and give us other ideas.
Yes, I would say what's performed well for me are reels and carousels. And yeah, but I'm trying to get better at doing video. I don't mind the short form stuff, but I'm a little bit averse to the long form thing. Monica won't be happy with me because she's still encouraging me to start a YouTube channel.
You absolutely should. I say to
what
what Monica's saying, absolutely. Yeah. And there's tips and tricks to that. And look, I've worked in content production for a long time with famous people, with nobody except an actor who's conceited likes to get in front of the camera. Like nobody. I hate it. I've learned to enjoy it now, but I did not for the first long time. And my business partner is an influencer. Like she just gets on and just talks and just is so comfortable in front of, and I'm like, how do you do that? And she's like, yeah. It comes natural. It doesn't to me. So you're with the norm, not the exception there. Okay. So best performing posts are reels and carousels. Target audience. I'm just going to skip all this because again, we gave a lot of this. It's up there, but this would be good to like, again, if you were actually going to do this, because I just want to show you guys where you can take those 4 prompts and go for it. So I'm just going to hit enter. Because if we would have said like, yes, we have testimonials. Yes, we do all this stuff. Yes, then it would put this in the strategy. But I love this because comprehensive social media strategy for Laura, an AI consultant. It's giving me brand awareness, lead generation, conversions, target platforms, content types, reels, carousel, static posts, videos, stories, threads, content themes, educational, inspirational, promotional, engagement. I love that. My company is called VEI, V-E-I, because we blew up the social media on a television show by doing value, education, inspiration over and over and over again. Value, education, inspiration. A little bit of humor goes a long way too, but you can do that in all 3 of those categories. Platform specific strategies. All right, so now it's going to get specific. It would even be more specific if we would have went and answered all those questions. Feed 3 to 4 times a week, stories daily, reels, key action, utilize reels to demonstrate AI tools, blah, 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 blah. Engaging tactics, Facebook. It's just going to go over all this, right? But I want to show you just taking it one layer deeper, and then I'll stop because I know we have to do questions and I can hang out a little bit longer. Engaging in community building, consistent interaction, community, all this stuff. So now I'm just going to say, because it's going to give you this whole thing, and I'll share this with you so you can take this with you. I'll share it with everyone, so then you'll even have the prompts right there if you have ChatGPT. Please use the info above and write me 5 Instagram posts that only give value to my ICA. All right, it's going to do a carousel. Slide 1 gives you what the cover image and title, 5 ways AI can transform your marketing strategy. Slide 2, automated content creation, how AI can generate engaging posts effortlessly. Gives you the caption, gives you the hashtags. Reel, quick tips, automate your social media scheduling with AI. Intro, text overlay, gives it to you. And again, if it says anything that's not correct or you don't agree with, you either just change it on the fly or you just prompt it and say, hey, I really like post 2. Give me 5 more like that. And that's a lot of times how I'll create, stuff even going from that. Carousel post 3, static image, client success story, how AI boosted Emma's practice. If you're in marketing, social proof, huge. You want to give social proof. So a high quality photo of Emma with permission. I love how it says that, with permission. Please give it permission. Along with a quote bubble highlighting her success. You give the caption, you give the hashtags. Carousel again, additional tips for implementation. Just keeps going. So hold on one second and let me go back up to this. And where do I copy this chat? Sorry, I'm working on a very small laptop right now. And I want to get to where I copy this chat so I can give it to you. It's usually right around here, right? Copy. Is that the whole thing? What am I missing?
Hey, Eve, open
Yeah.
up your sidebar. And click on the 3 dots next to the customer profile. Where it says today, ideal customer profile AI. Click on the 3
Yes.
dots.
Okay. Share. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, I know there's something. Okay. Create a link. Copy link. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go into the chat and give this to everyone. And so you will have all of those prompts. If you grab that, and Laura, you'll be able to go and take and just reprompt anything with that. All right, so kind of fire hose to the face. I love that. Mine's Murray. I wish it was Laura. I could say mine's Laura. What questions do you guys have? It's a lot of fire hose to the face, and there's a lot of different implementations that this can go. So what do you got for me?
Can I just say thanks very much? Thanks very
Absolutely.
much for it. Thanks for listening and whatever. It's really great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, let me go over what Monica and I are doing. And this is something that we put together before we did this workshop. We're going to do a 3-day workshop. I'll kind of share my screen and just show it to you guys and go over what we're going to do. We are charging for it, but if you guys want in on it, today we had Crystal do I think 50% off. I think it's even more than 50% off. So we're charging, I think, $100, 97, and we'll do it for 47. That's going to go into this, like the rest of those prompts. Let me actually share my screen and see if I have it up, because it's always easier to show. Yeah. So we're on this whole superhero. So we're becoming a content AI superhero. And what we're going to do is it's going to be in a couple weeks. It's December 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's at this exact same time. And literally, what we're going to do is we're going to take you guys and all the people involved into creating that framework. So we would go into the rest of the prompts so you have that. And again, this is to train the GPT. So Laura, you get that. If you guys haven't made GPTs, literally the GPT it's what I do with all of my clients. So I can just produce content for them, which I do everything from mailers to email campaigns, to blogs. Blogs is a huge thing that I'm doing to get SEO, YouTube stuff. And then if you guys are in Monica's thing, I think you guys already have access to this, but we're going to actually use her voice and tone analyzer, which I've been using, and it's been amazing. So we'll show you guys how to use that to be able to get your voice. Because again, the number one thing that I hear from everybody is it doesn't sound like me. And there are ways around it, right? I have learned before I met Monica how to prompt and how to create so it understood my tone and my voice. But her analysis was a game changer, her voice and tone analysis for the clients that I service, because it's like I no longer have to like literally go in. I mean, I have my like, sounds like Anthony Bourdain is an asshole. My workaround to get there like edgy. And so I've been like, I got it, but then I went because I wanted to see, is Monica's tool good? And I literally used it on one of my hardest clients to get his voice. He's the one that's the Anthony Bourdain, edgy, kind of an asshole in his like quick wit. Totally got it. Totally got it. Like literally nailed it. And then we're literally going to go side by side and create this custom GPT. So it's like a locked in version. And so basically then you have it and it's specific for your only thing. So you'll meet Crystal. You already know Monica. You're knowing me. And basically, if you guys are interested, I'll put the link in the chat also. And for the next, I don't know, I think we said few days, Monica.
I will put the link in there. Yeah, it's fakecreative.com/superpowers.
So it's the first time Monica and I are teaming up to do this. I've done versions of this without her voice analysis tool. So I'm really excited to be able to offer this just because we're beginning to get testimonials from people that we've done. Crystal and I have a little group that's not even open. We have a wait list because it was kind of us, as I call it, engaging the field to kind of see what people want and what they want to learn. And kind of going through this, it's like once we've given them the ability to create content, as a lot of you know, then you can just build upon that to where I'm very huge into LinkedIn marketing. That's actually something I was going to say, like, that's kind of something that Monica and I are going to team up on and do a LinkedIn using her stuff, because I've really kind of hacked how to get, to me, LinkedIn's like what Facebook was 5 years ago. And I just find the lead generation on it to be huge if done correctly. Because I'm sure if you're on LinkedIn, you know, you get spammed 100 people being like, I don't mean to be a salesperson, but, and then they ask you to buy something where I want to be. I think you need to start taking my class because you probably have something to offer, but you're just peacock portfolioing. You've given me no value. I don't know who you are, and you're showing up in my inbox. So I teach my clients how to use LinkedIn to get lead generation. So that's just an idea that we're going to throw out later on using all this stuff. But again, do you guys have any questions? Fire hose to the face, a lot of information. Comments. Wish it was something.
We've got a couple of questions here in the chat from Caroline. How would you use it to use a story framework to build a homepage? So how would you use this framework?
Okay, pro tip. This is what I do. I always use, I was about to say Google. I now use Perplexity, but you can use Google, right? So are you building a homepage or a landing page? Homepage. Okay. So if you're building a homepage, I would find out who's written a book on the most successful homepages to whatever your goal is, right? I get that from Perplexity, which if you haven't used Perplexity, it's like ChatGPT research, really good, very useful tool. I do all my research with that. And then I would go and do a little bit of research on that and make sure that it's correct, right? Then I would prompt after those initial prompts, I would say, I am now going to build a homepage for X business, right? You've already loaded a lot of the stuff in there to get the client avatar. Using the framework of who's the expert, because I'm not an expert on homepages, right? I do a lot of landing pages. So I do a lot of like expert in landing pages and have found my tips and tricks to that. So using the framework of said expert, please write out a homepage for me. Does it. I actually literally just built a landing page for a client doing that exact thing. Like saying, I need you to build out this landing page, gave it all the information, built the avatar, did all that stuff, and then said, I need a landing page. This is what he's selling. What do I do? And it gave me everything. This is where I just get so excited with AI because it's like, again, 70% of the way there. Like I do so much where I'll even say, the first time I was speaking at an event on how AI is going to help small businesses, I literally prompted ChatGPT and I said, I want you to act as Albert Einstein and then found people who are really far along in AI. And I want you to have a conversation on how AI is going to affect small businesses, and just looked at the conversation to start getting stuff that people, take two experts and have them have a conversation, give it some parameters. And it just begins to be like your fly on the wall, brainstorming. I love analogies. So I'll say, give me some analogies that I can use in my presentation because that's how I learn. I love a good analogy. Just does it.
We have another question from Jennifer. I feel like I have limited experience and only 2 customers. Jennifer is actually one of our success stories because she came with absolutely zero knowledge about AI, and within a couple of months she had 2 customers, and now I think she's got another one. So she's not giving herself enough kudos, but so her question is, what would be the process for building a YouTube channel with content to attract my next customer?
So that's, I'll answer it in to give you something, but that's very a deep question, right? Because it's not like a 5-minute answer. Once you know who your customer is, right? Then you begin to build content around that, and video content is huge. And YouTube is now so awesome with their shorts, with their like everything that YouTube can do. It's just changed the game. So what would be my process in building a YouTube channel with content to attract my next customer? Gonna get a little like big, but okay. So you have a website or you don't, right? But there's something that's happening right now with Google because of AI. And everyone's talking about search engine optimization, but there's also what they're calling, oh, now I'm going to forget. It's not Google. It's, oh my God, women, perimenopause. My brain goes blank. I know.
Is it AEO, Eve?
It's generative engine optimization. Okay. And so in the forums that I'm in, it talks a lot about how Google is changing their analytics on how, and their algorithm on how it is crawling your website, right? So one of the things that I have done in the last 6 months that has been huge, so this is going to answer your question in a backdoor type of way, more of telling you how important it is to actually build said YouTube site, okay? Because I will have a YouTube page for all of my clients where I put AI generated content, whether I use Pictory or just something that just build something, not expecting people to watch it. Okay, you can do both, but it is to be for the Google and Perplexity now, because it's doing it, because YouTube is the second largest search engine. So if you're not putting content on the second largest search engine and pointing back to your website, so you put the video, but then you actually then take and use AI to create an outline of the video, and you put that below the video, and then put a link to your website if anyone wants to click to it, and use all the things that you do on YouTube, just like the meta tags and all that stuff, it begins to redirect back to it. We have a client that is a class action lawsuit firm that had zero advertising at all. So it was very fun to work with them, because all they did, and that's not true, they did Google ads, which made zero sense to me, right? Because they were literally going after a very specific type of plaintiff, right? So we taught them how they could target certain people on social media, and also using just old school, like just go put a flyer up in the truck stop where said person's going to be, right? But another story. But to get them with their SEO, because they had hired an SEO company and they were not happy with the results. And I'm like, you're not using, there's all these tools, you guys, right? I'm going to go off on a little tangent, but there's still your basic marketing that you have to still do. So getting a website and having a blog on your website, right? The blog is for the search engine optimization. Having a video attached to that blog, so you can have on YouTube, which we'll create a blog and we'll create a script from the blog and use Pictory to create the video, all happening very quickly, and put it on YouTube to get that whole funnel, the flywheel, as Laurel likes to call it in her ecosystem. To me, it's the marketing flywheel of like, it's kind of hitting things from everything. Unless you have found a proven way to get your ideal customer, and it's like Instagram, I get so many every day, I can't handle them. I teach my clients, let's go and let's do it from all these different ways. So that's kind of a backdoor just to do it, but you can literally using the prompt to begin to build that, and just make content that's of value. It's the one thing, anything, like when people begin to find you, because you can take that YouTube video and you have your YouTube channel and you put it out on other socials, and people will begin to interact with your content and you won't even know it. I think that's the biggest thing too when it comes to marketing, is people, I don't even realize, like someone's been watching me when I hire, or when they hire me as their coach or for the agency, they'll say that they've been watching me on YouTube, or they'll be watching me on, usually it's Instagram, for months. They don't even comment. I didn't even know they existed, right? So it's just me providing value, providing value, providing value. And then when they're ready to buy, they come out of the woodwork.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
So if I post on YouTube, like I see myself like I'm geeking out over make automations. Like is like that, I'm not sure will necessarily speak to my ideal customer if I'm like geeking out over make automations and saying this is what this does, this is what this is why we put this all together.
You will
So
definitely
what is,
do. Can I answer this? You will definitely
yes, yes.
do, because people will see your expertise and they'll kind of see the workflow. They will not necessarily understand like the intricate bits into it, but they'll be like, oh, Jennifer knows what she's talking about. Maybe she can build one for me. And they will approach you that way. And then out of what Eve is saying about blogging, you can grab your transcript and make it into user-friendly blog, and then attach the video there as well.
Okay, awesome.
and
Thank
we'll
you.
do another, like, because you're giving me a lot of ideas. When I showed you that presentation and said like there's the 4 steps, knowing what your customer wants, that's the other thing that like I'll teach people, Because if I'm going to give value, it might not necessarily be my offer, right? So it's like there's a way to get people in the door. Like I do very similar things to Laura. But if I know what they want, they have a problem. And if I know what that problem is and I can solve it by making a video on it, so it's not just showing what you can do, but a lot of times people don't understand what their actual problem is. Right? So it's like, okay, do I need to know how to automate something, or do I need to know the easiest way to set up my camera to start making this content? Right? Like a lot of times, like I talk about it, what's your most immediate constraint? What is your most immediate? Because I think as solopreneurs, and not talking about your clients, I'm talking about you guys, like what is happening right now that is preventing you from getting to your next goal? And I have gone through a lot of workshops and training where I get up in the day and I look at what is my next immediate constraint, because I can get into that analysis paralysis or too much. And I need to, I need 6,000 followers and what am I going to do? And it's like, okay, no, Eve, do you just need to make sure this button on your landing page works? Okay, let's get that tackled. And then we'll get to the next thing, right? And so I look at that with my clients too. So if I can solve a small problem for someone in my audience that gets them in the door and leads them to their bigger problem, because in my experience, I went through that. I thought I needed a website and a this and a that, and I had to have everything before I actually like hit the go. And it's like, no, you don't. Start doing content and going. That was my immediate constraint. So kind of a lot of stuff there, but anything else, guys?
Eve,
The
what was
coupon
the
code.
coupon? Was it superhero or
Superhero.
Superhero.
All lowercase.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you, Carolyn. Didn't even.
Yeah. Yeah. Then this.
You'll get money off, but we're not going to tell you how.
Yeah. So yeah, superhero is the one that will give you $50 off. We do have 2 more questions from Carolyn. She just left, but we can still answer it. So sorry, from Suzanne. The first one is how do I validate the insights AI provides about my ICA before implementing them?
That's a really good question. A couple of ways. I fact check like a lot of it, and this is what my coach teaches me. I have a coach about engaging the field. And like sometimes the insights that AI, they're not going to be correct. So you're going to know roughly, right? Like unless you're like fresh and new, you're going to know roughly. There are ways to prompt. So the simple answer is you can prompt after you're done with that and tell ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you're using to please fact check and source all the information that it's providing. That's just something I do, especially with my clients. I have actually learned, because I'm a geek and I have Perplexity, Claude, and ChatGPT. If I get something out of one of them, I have the other one fact check it. Same thing. I'll put the information in there and I'll say, hey, Perplexity is great at doing it because it actually gives sources. So if I'm getting analytics or if I'm doing like a customer analysis or a competitor analysis, that's where it comes in big time, because it will actually give little numbers of the fact, and you can click on it and it takes you to the website or the source material that actually gave that. A lot of it though, and this is like the answer that nobody wants to hear, a lot of it is like doing it. Like, right? Like when I went with Laura, she could give me a very an existing client, right? And that always helps, like to say, like, this is somebody that I've actually done stuff with, that then will kind of lead it down the right path, because AI is getting better every day. I am not finding it's messing up too much, but I do tell my clients, it will embarrass you if you don't fact check it. So just a simple prompt of fact checking it, I think, is what it would do.
Okay, so the next question is, how does AI handle niche markets with very specific needs or limited data?
I don't know. I would have to, as I would say, go engage the field and throw in all the information you have and see is what I would do. I mean, AI, especially like that's where I'd say go to Perplexity. Perplexity can scan the web. It's everything, right? Like I think ChatGPT can do that too now, but it with the data, and it's just like the information, if it's out there, it's going to find it, right? So I think that I would be curious of how specific the niche is, but the more information you can provide, the better, especially when you're doing an ICA, because behavioral graphics and psychographics and demographics, like it builds upon what it knows and the information you give it. So the more information you give it, the better and more specific it's going to get to that.
Okay, so we've got another question from Carol. Do you create a GPT for each client to get this detailed in the custom instructions, or do you have one that works with a framework and you personalize the prompts?
So if I have an agency client, I do a specific GPT for each one, because each client, like I have clients that I said that are like class action loss lawyers to a guy that does graphic banner stadium type stuff for sports, very different ICAs. They have very different, their tone and how they speak is very different. So I, for them, build a specific one. And then I have a very specific GPT for Vay Creative for when I'm putting out my marketing material. Monica and I, because we're teaming up so much, will probably create one for us, since the two of us sound, and like I've never gotten into automation as much. And that's actually how I came across Monica, like literally in the same group. And I'm like, well, I want to learn that, and was like, that's cool. And that's just like, next level up for me. But because we can kind of combine like my background in the marketing and the like kind of principles behind it and her very strategic tactical things, like that would be a different chat GPT or a GPT than mine, right? Because we're offering different things and it's somewhat different.
Okay, and Carol had a follow-up question. Also, if you're helping a client that is not clear on who they're helping, or have several types of clients and don't know how to choose one. So basically, what if I don't know who my ICA is and I can't even answer those questions that you started asking Laura in the beginning? Or what if I have like several different ones that are very, very different from each other? How do you approach that?
I need more information to answer that. Like, give me, I guess, like what would be an example? Because I would take them through just a basic like exercise of who their client, like what do they offer? Because they have to offer something to have a client. So I would start with what the offer is, and then maybe work backwards in having ChatGPT start giving me answers and ideas of, if I have a chocolate cake for sale, who do I go after? Like I'm going to go after people that like sugar. I'm going to go after people that maybe are, I know, maybe I'm craving chocolate right now. It's noon my time, So I might work backwards with that and try to back into that if they don't know, and try to figure out with what information you have from them. If you're new to using ChatGPT and the research and all that stuff, I tell people the best analogy I have, if you've ever worked in corporate or had any where you've had to train a new employee, they don't get it all, right? It takes about really 4 months for things to click. So I say, treat ChatGPT like a new employee that you're training, and you keep giving that person more information. It might come back with good, or like 2 days later, it comes back with, no, that's not what I asked you to do. And I just keep having that conversation and prompting and letting that new employee, ChatGPT, this is what you didn't understand. I needed you to actually do X. You did Y. Please go back and do X. And it'll be like, oh, Carol, sorry. And, so it's when people are new to that and like, how do I do this? I'm like, you can't expect just a Q&A and that answer to be the final thing. It's like, it's really training someone. I mean, I use the analogy of my dog all the time. Like I'm trying to train my puppy. Be polite means stop jumping up on me. He gets it half the time. He's actually been very good on our Zoom call. Usually he jumps up here like 5 times because I think he gets wigged out that I'm talking to a wall. But anyway, same thing. Like I have to say it over and over and over again. And sometimes be polite isn't the right thing. I have to say out of the kitchen because he gets that, right? So keep trying different things with ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your thing is until you begin to get what you want. Play with it. I say play with it like a child would play with a new toy. Don't think you're going to break it and don't be attached to the results. Like just keep doing it until you start to get what you want.
Yeah, and on the other side, if you have multiple avatars that are to you are ideal clients, just pick one and start with that one. When you exhaust that one, go to the next one. Or if this one that you just picked is not responding well, then go to the other one. Because if you put everybody together and they're very different avatars and you try to talk to all of them at the same time, your message is going to be very, very bland because it's so broad and it's going to fall on deaf ears because it's not going to be for anyone because it's so broad. So just pick one and go like with weight loss. Do I work with new moms that want to lose the baby weight, or do I want to work with professionals that sit on their butt for 16 hours a day? Very different avatars. Both of them want to lose weight. So, and you can't talk to them in the same way. So just pick one, start with them, and then go to the next one. And this actually happens with everyone because at some point, it doesn't matter what business you are, you will exhaust one avatar. It might be in 10 years' time, but you'll still exhaust them, and then you'll just have to go to somebody else.
Yeah, the client that I was telling you about in Texas, I didn't know if I said he was in Texas, but that does stadium graphics. He actually sells windscreen. Like windscreen is what he puts the stadium graphics on. And so he uses windscreen to do stadium branding. He uses windscreen at tennis courts. He uses windscreen as a security measure for a lot of schools in Texas. So there's many different avatars there. And so there is a different GPT for each of those things because sometimes I'm speaking to superintendents, sometimes I'm speaking to parents, sometimes I'm speaking to booster clubs. Like depending on what I'm working on to sell for him, it is different. Well, this has been so fun, Monica, and Sho, is very good to see you. Sho and I actually went to grad school together, so I've known her for 20 some years. And she is recently reconnected with all my posts on AI of like, what are you doing? I want to learn this stuff. So always love to see you when you jump into one of my master classes.
You are a superhero, my friend. This was really, really, really helpful. And I'm really excited about the next course.
Yeah. I hope to see you guys there. Literally, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's like, it's a lot of these take you guys and give you stuff to go out and play with. Like at the end of those 3 days, and the other thing that I didn't even say, but we're going to do a bonus day on that Saturday. So it's actually 4 days. And the bonus day is to literally answer any questions regarding your business, marketing, AI. Like it's just like whatever. So if you are going to do it, it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you have time, keep that Saturday free too, because we're just going to open it up to Q&A the whole time. Because I learn a lot. I'm in a group that's called The Arena, and I just sit in it and listen to these like business owners and their questions, because my questions will get answered from theirs. I'm always that person that's afraid to be like, help me. So I just listen.
Yeah, and guys, if you are in the school community, or if you're in the School of Business, which are my paid communities, or if you're in with Eve as a client or as a paid community member for her, you guys will get the replays a little bit later on. As soon as Zoom actually processes it, we'll put them out. So yeah, if you've come a little bit later or you want to watch it again, everything will be there with all the resources and the link to the workshop if you guys want to come and join us, because yeah, you're going to get $50 off, which is only $47.